AITA for making a list of my brother's girlfriend's faults and how I have the better woman. Throwaway account. I, 28 meters, will not argue that what I did wasn't childish or petty. It definitely was, but was I justified? Backstory. In high school I had a girlfriend, Kelly, 28F, and she was someone who I thought would be my forever girl until I caught her and my brother Mike, 30 meters, in the act. I was enraged, dumped Kelly and emotionally disowned my brother. My parents were on my side and told Mike that he had to find somewhere else to live and maintained little contact with him after the fact. It wasn't until I finished college that my parents started welcoming Mike back in their lives when he announced that Kelly was pregnant with their first grandchild. They said that they didn't want to deny an innocent child a relationship because of what their parents did, and even though I was hurt, a part of me understood. But I made it very clear that whenever Mike was around I wouldn't be. My parents did like it but accepted my position on the matter. Years later I met my girlfriend Tasha, 29F, and she's really the sweetest and more adorable person ever. Although if you knew either of us separately you'd wonder why we were together, romantically, at all. It's definitely an opposites attract type of situation, but I think we balance each other pretty well. I'm an extrovert who can give her reassurance while she's an introvert who keeps me grounded. During this past year 1D say that our relationship has gotten stronger, and I know my parents love her because she's helped me let go of my anger towards Mike and I can tolerate him at family events. During my family and I, first in-person meeting I asked my mom for her grandmother's ring and stated my intention to propose with it. My mom was excited and readily got the ring while my dad was offering congratulations. The only ones who didn't seem happy were Mike and Kelly. When my mom came back, Kelly stated that she should have the ring since she and Mike have been engaged since their son was born. My mom said it was first come, first served, and that since Mike didn't ask for it and she already had a ring she didn't need it. Kelly then tried to say that she didn't think I should propose because Tasha and I were so different and that if it didn't work out the family ring would be lost to a stranger. I got upset and told her to stop, but she kept going on and said that she only cared about the family and that if anything it should go to the first female grandchild, and started making a list of reasons why I shouldn't marry Tasha. I left angry and drove home, but before I went into my house I made a list of reasons why Tasha was better and more deserving of the family ring than Kelly and sent it to Kelly via social media. Now Kelly is upset and has been crying, and her friends and family have started to berate me. AITA. Just to be clear, I didn't publicly post the list on social media. I DM'd it to her and she started showing it to others. ETA too. Wow. I can't believe how much this has grown. Thanks for the well wishes. I've thought about it and I have decided not to show the list because it would be too specific and people I know in real life might come across it. However, I will say that I listed 9 things that was wrong about Kelly, and yes, her sleeping with the brother of the guy she was dating was at the top. ETA 3. Since someone asked, no, Mike hasn't said anything to me about the list and I'm not 100% sure where he stands on this because we don't really talk. Participant 3. NTA you're cheating. Ex trying to tell you why your current relationship will not work is rich coming from her, especially when it sounds like you and your current GF mesh so well, and when you do the exact same thing to her she gets pissed, which confirms her lack of self-awareness. Quite bluntly, she is an entitled asshole. Godspeed up and congrats on being engaged. Apparently, sleeping with both brothers gives her, not any more related than Tasha, the right to give to her child and bypass op altogether. Absolutely not. She has zero standing, didn't even know about the ring, and then tries to bully you by putting your girlfriend down. NTA. She's obviously jealous, controlling, selfish, self-centered and materialistic. Be happy your brother is stuck with her and not you. She should be told in no uncertain terms that if she continues to bash your girlfriend, you will never be in her presence again and she and brother will have to deal with it. Participant 3. Sometimes you gotta put your ass up on your shoulders and wear that asshole hat with pride and honor, and this is such a situation. She wants to be all about family. She wasn't when she was boning you and your brother, and, technically speaking, she still isn't family, just engaged. Her opinion is shit in this or any other situation involving you and Tasha. Take care of each other and good luck. Sounds more like Kelly is just upset because you were more than happy to jump in the mud and wallow with the pigs, which isn't what most such people expect. Also, one important point is that she probably knows Tasha is gonna be the in-law they'll be fawning over and telling their friends about. She's sweet, grounded, helped their son and overall looks like a great lady. Meanwhile, Kelly is part of the major rift in the family, wasn't allowed around till she was pregnant. Pretty sure they deep down know the parents tolerate their presence because of the kid, and after all this time still on engaged status. The fact that Mike didn't bother asking for the ring implies chances are they're together out of a sense of obligation, and first was because I took my brother's girl and now because she had my kid. She made several poor choices and is bitter that in front of her is the picture-perfect future she could have if she wasn't a horn dog. Op is happy, planning a romantic proposal with the family heirloom, and I bet the parents will be over the moon if Tasha ever gives birth. AITA. The mom probably didn't want her to have it in the first place. She probably only tolerated her because of the grandbaby, and that's it. It's rich for her to say Tasha is bad for the family considering she shares a huge part in Op never wanting to talk to his brother anymore. Kelly should have sat there and ate her food. But the ring isn't given to the person who dates the most members of the family. That would have been a hilarious reply in the moment, especially if Op took an earnest tone like he was clearing up a genuine misunderstanding. Oh, no, Kelly, the family heirloom isn't a prize for how many members of the family you've boned. It's really about relationship quality over quantity. Participant 3, dude, why do you still care what your ex thinks? ? Your mom gave you the ring. I'm not sure why you're devoting all your time and energy to this. You literally sat in your car to send your ex a bunch of reasons why your new GF is better than her? ? She cheated on you 10 years ago, and you're still trying to what? Make her jealous, make her think you're over her. Cuz it does not sound like you are. Convince her she doesn't deserve you. I'm not sure how acting petty or childish, by your own admission, proves anything, or even why you want to be the justified for being petty and childish. Yep, but some people need to hear that they are trash and they need to be TFU. She's present and making her opinion loudly known. It would be different if he hadn't seen her in 10 years and sent her a list. He didn't try to make her jealous. He wanted her to know she is an awful person. Op, bullet dodged. Phew. Also, as someone who tries to consider carefully everyone's motivations and be forgiving, some things make me want to be petty. This is one. I feel a sense of justice for you. Edited a typo. Participant 1, yes, thank you. I'm surprised, but all the NTA. This is some petty middle grade school shit. Yes, Kelly and the brother are awful for what they did, but this is one of those situations where because there is a kid is involved, it's best if everyone tries to remain cordial. Also, if I was Op's soon-to-be fiancé and I found out about this, it would make me have serious questions about whether or not he was ready to get married. Asshole aficionado, 16. ESH. Udming a list of all the ways Kelly is terrible was probably justified, but unbelievably immature at the same time. She should have known to keep her mouth shut to begin with. If anyone is bad for the family, it's her. She cared so little for your family she cheated on you with your own brother. Disagree with the ESH judgment. Was it immature? Sure, but taking the whole situation into account, including the fact that Op was even speaking to either of them in the first place, I will not call him an asshole. He told her to stop, she didn't. He kept his beef with her private, and she chose to share it with everyone else. As far as I'm concerned, she's the asshole here. ESH. I inherently think it's an asshole move to rank people against each other. It seems to me you sent that list just to hurt Kelly's feelings to get back at her, especially since her parents already agreed you'd get the ring and are happy for you, so no one really needed convincing. Kelly is definitely the biggest asshole and did something selfish, childish, and rude out of jealousy. Also probably has resentment about not being married yet after being engaged for so long. Sounds like she's someone that wants to make you feel bad on purpose and cause a scene, so I suggest you don't play into it because expect her to bring it up in the future. Congratulations on the presumptive engagement and good luck with the family. Expecting to see a future update. WIBT if I didn't invite my brother and his fiancée, my cheating ex, to my wedding? NTA, I think you're too nice to this woman. I do think you should distance yourself even more, not just because of anger, but because your brother and his wife seem awful. If anyone contacts you about what you said, just respond back. I think it's wonderful you wouldn't be offended if X sat down and went through a list of reasons she didn't think your spouse is good enough. Go ahead and reach out to her and let her know that you'll handle it better than I did. Let her go through a list of all her horrible thoughts about you or your significant other, and then just smile. Show me how you can listen to such cruelness and enjoy it. This is very strange. People keep saying NTA on the whole situation, but this isn't meant to be about Kelly cheating. Technically you're asking if you're an asshole for making a list and sending it to your ex. Quite frankly, I think you are. Why are you still trying to prove you're over her and that you have a better woman? I mean, what does this really have to do with a ring? Really? You've got it. And apparently you have the love of your life, so why bother with extra pettiness? It feels like you really aren't over her. Or what happened? I can't imagine how it must make your current partner feel. Yes, thank you. All the NTAs are focusing on Kelly's rudeness and past cheating and ignoring the disrespect towards Tasha. That's the part that OP should be worried about. I would not want to marry a man who sent his ex-girlfriend a list comparing me to her on the same day he got my engagement ring, especially when this was a high school relationship that ended a decade ago. I get that the cheating and betrayal hurt him deeply, but if he still feels the need to throw Tasha in her face all these years later, is he really ready to marry her or anyone? And why even ask for the ring in front of Kelly and Mike when their response seems pretty in character? In-law drama is bad enough without your future husband going out of his way to escalate it and drag you into the middle of it. Sounds like a nightmare for poor Tasha. I mean, what does this really have to do with a ring? Really? You've got it. And apparently you have the love of your life, so why bother with extra pettiness? Because as I stated, when I asked for it, Kelly said that Tasha shouldn't have it and listed all her faults as a person as justification and wouldn't stop after I told her to. I can get really defensive when it comes to Tasha, so I gave Kelly a taste of her own medicine to see how she would like it if someone listed her faults. Also, yes, I am definitely over her, and if she would have stopped after I told her to, it would have been the end of it. NTA. Well, my friend, you definitely dodged the bullet when Kelly proved not to be the one for you when she cheated with your brother. I get a little vibe that she doesn't like Tasha because she still thinks she was the best one for you and you should be regretting you lost her. Thus the list of reasons you shouldn't marry Tasha. She is jealous that you are marrying Tasha and that she is getting the family ring. You sent her a list of why Tasha is the better woman than Kelly. Number 1. Tasha hasn't cheated on me with Mike, and it was a DM. Kelly is spreading it around in order to look like a victim, which she isn't. Block her family and friends, seeing as their opinions are of no use and they don't know the whole story of why you sent the DM. I was prepared to go the other way from the title and intro, but nope, you are totally anti-A. Mike and Kelly, in my mind, forfeited their rights to any heirlooms long ago, and, even without the unsavory backstory, Kelly has some kind of nerve to even consider trying to tell your mom what should be done with a piece of family jewelry or to try to advise you on whom to wed. I hope Tasha says yes, loves the ring, and that the two of you share long years, great joy and small troubles. NTA. Possibly a right dick, but justified all the same, and better than I would have been. I'd have said something in person, something along the lines of, the woman who decided cheating on me with my brother gets absolutely no say in who I date or marry. You're both extraordinarily lucky I acknowledge you're alive, and you have her to thank for that before leaving in a drop the mic moment. But I'm a petty BTCH. I get why everyone is on your side against Kelly and Mike, but what about Tasha? If I were her, knowing you angrily sent a list to your ex comparing me to her would not make me feel respected or valued in the slightest. I'd be embarrassed, uncomfortable, and questioning whether this is the sort of weird family dynamic I wanted to marry into. There's also the fact that you requested the ring in front of Kelly and Mike to begin with. Why would you want them involved in a special moment between you and your mom? Was it to rub in how excited she was? It's hard to imagine that sweet and adorable Tasha will appreciate having all this unnecessary drama as the backdrop to your how we got engaged story. Look, what happened to you back in high school was absolutely terrible. But what more do you want here? Dude, Kelly's stuck with a not yet Mill/Phil who will always hate her for being a terrible girlfriend as a teenager. Mike will spend the rest of his life knowing his parents only want him around for the grandkids and watching them openly favor you in every way, celebrating your milestones 1000x more than his. Let's be real. He could have gotten down on his hands and knees and begged your mom for that ring years ago and she never would have given it to him. When the scales have already tipped so far in your favor, the ability to justify petty stuff like this starts to fade. You're not in high school anymore and karma obviously has this one handled. Name one way either of them came out on top. Kelly was an old high school flame you're lucky to have moved on from. Tasha sounds like the real deal. Don't lose sight of what matters and drag her into this mess. It's not worth it. Hating these two gives them power. Indifference will set you free. You all sound like you need to grow up, but on a total side note, reconsider the ring. I've told this story before on this forum, but my cousin proposed to the love of his life with the family heirloom ring. The engagement went belly up a year later and she refused to return the ring. He ended up having to take her to court to get it back. Today he's been married for 11 years to a woman he loves much more than the love of his life. They have 3 children and are very happy. His mother has the ring and it will one day go to the grandchildren, but never again will it go to someone outside the family before they have actually married in. Buy her own ring and use the heirloom for special occasions. Participant 2, not gonna lie, I entered this expecting you to be the asshole. But Kelly sounds like a greedy asshole who seems to have gotten complacent with the fact that she's literally only in her future-in-law's good graces because of a baby band-aid. Your parents may love their grandchild, but that still doesn't change the lesser traits of her character. I'll also say it's bold of her to be sobbing all over the place like she totally isn't a nearly 30-year-old grown adult trying to bandwagon your ass into submission. In any case, don't listen to anything she has to say. Her family and friends are irrelevant. Nobody's to you, and their word means virtually nothing. Take the ring, propose, be happy. NTA, if there really was an engagement, it already passed few years, I guess like 5-6 years. In all those years they did not think to ask the ring until you asked. Hahaha. Your mother most probably is just polite with Kelly for the sake of her grandchild. If she was thinking that Kelly deserved the ring more, do you think she would have not given the ring to her? It is also about validation. To have an heirloom ring from a family is an honor. You sent her the list in a private message. She is the one showing it everywhere. Haha. I'm going to say potential ESH. Now, I'm not sure what your list said, but I'm going to assume that it was a lot of personal things relating to yours and Kathy's relationship. I would just hope that since you're about to propose, that you're not still hung up on your ex. Like, was your list trying to convince Kathy that she's unworthy or yourself that you don't need her? Though I'm completely open to the idea that you're super over her and won't fight you on it if you insist that everything is done. I just genuinely hope you've moved on for your sake. If I were in your shoes I would actually want a therapist to talk to about how much of a quagmire my family is. NTA. Technically Kelly listed why Tasha would not be a good fit for OP, so OP is basically doing the same thing by listing why Tasha deserves the ring. And if Mike really wanted Kelly to have the ring, then he should have asked for it when he was proposing, but he didn't, and it's not fair for Kelly to bring it up now. Just because OP and Tasha have diff personalities doesn't mean they aren't a good fit, and Kelly and Mike don't know their relationship and how they are together well enough to judge. Kelly and Mike have no right to say that their marriage wouldn't succeed. Kelly is 100% wrong. Can OPLS let us know how it goes between you and Tasha? I'm rooting for you guys.